So I'm at the Museum, and for my art analysis and interpretation on a specific piece of artwork, I am going to be analyzing a painting, and it's called St. John Bosco with Donors and Children Before the Blessed Virgin and Child. It was made in 1855 in Guatemala during the 19th century. It's oil on canvas, and it was a gift to Dr. and Mrs. Frances Romanesque in 1999. And I'm going to give you a description of what I see. And as I look at it, I see the main thing that draws my attention is a very tall man dressed in all black. It almost looks as if it's a priest's cloak, like what they wear whenever they preach. And he's holding what looks like a storybook almost, maybe even a Bible, and it has this weird design on it, which to me kind of represents the Holy Trinity, because there's 3 different points and there's a crown on top of it. So that's what I feel that he is kind of what he's telling. And below him are very short little men. They look old, but they're almost childlike size. Some of them are praying. Some of them have books, maybe Bibles. They're kneeling down. They have their hats off. So to me, it looks as if they're praying. And then up above them to the left is the Virgin Mary and Jesus. She is sitting down in clouds, and she almost looks as if, I don't want to say that he's dreaming, but she looks as if she's up in heaven shining down. And some of the kids are actually kind of as if they were looking up towards her. And to her left are 2 little angels kind of hidden. And I also see shelves of books. I see a cross with Jesus nailed onto it in the background behind him. And that's what I see when I look at it. Now, some of the elements that are used are, there's definitely some line. There's line in the floor that I see. There's line in the stairs, because they're all sitting on top of like a little, I don't want to say a stage, but there's a little uplifting where the preacher is. I see great line through the cross. There's a table. There's a lot of different line that's used in the different things, props almost, that the artist has painted. Shape, there's definitely shape, of course. The table is a rectangle. The books have great shape to them. The figures are, in my eyes, are painted very, very well. The faces aren't very proportional, but there's line in them, of course, and in the bookshelf in the background, and in the book that the preacher's holding, or maybe it's almost even a notepad, it looks like. Space. There's definitely great space that is utilized here. The stage itself has great shape to it, because it looks like almost as if it's an oval. And how they, I guess the word would be deceptive, how they made Mary come out of the sky, and how it could almost be awkward, but the artist did a really good job utilizing space and making it come down exactly at a certain level that it looks as if she's really coming down from heaven. Time, you definitely can tell it's not new what they're wearing. It definitely shows that it was back more in the older days, from what the boys are wearing, from their suits, and they're wearing boots and their hats, and what the preacher's wearing, because nowadays they're in white, or they're in suits and everything, but he's in the old, I guess you could say, the Catholic wardrobe. Light, light is used very well. It's kind of more darkish, not very bright towards the bottom, where the kids and where the man is standing, telling them about whatever he's reading about, which I believe it's obviously Mary. But up in the top left corner, Mary has sunlight coming from behind her, and the clouds are very bright. So, like I said, it gives you the idea that they're saying that Mary is coming down from heaven, or that they're talking about her in the light that Jesus brings, maybe. Color. There's definitely a lot of color. Not very bright colors. They're more subtle, like greens, blacks, browns. But what catches my eye is that the books that some of the boys are holding the pages are red. So when I look at it, my eyes are almost drawn to the red pages in the books. Like maybe the artist wanted you to look at them saying that they are reading the Bible, or what they're reading is important to the story that the author is trying to tell. Texture, there's not a lot of texture that I see going on. Definitely there was a lot of texture, and it almost looks as if the clouds are very fluffy and realistic, and the preacher's outfit that he's wearing is very detailed, and you can almost as if the wind's blowing it. So there was definitely great texture that the artist used during that. For some of the principles, unity, I definitely think that with the idea of what the artist is trying to speak through his picture, it's very unified, with the kids praying, him holding a Bible, a cross in the background, Mary up at the top. I definitely can tell that this was supposed to be for something religious, maybe for a church, maybe for someone who helped out and had their own nonprofit organization, because it was a gift, it said. So maybe he was thanking them for how they worked, and maybe for lives they changed. Balance, there's definitely a lot of balance more towards the bottom where the kids are and where the man is talking, preaching. It's balanced because of the proportions that were used. Like I said, they were small, but it all kind of fits together, because you can tell that the preacher is definitely a lot more overpowering than the little kids are. For emphasis, I definitely think that there was emphasis on Mary because of the light that was used, and she's in blue and pink, and I feel as if the emphasis was supposed to be on her because of the yellow sunlight coming out of her and her shining more, as the people towards the bottom are in darker clothing, there's shade, there's not a lot of light going on down there. So I definitely feel as if the painter wanted us to look towards Mary. And the angels stick out to me too, because the clouds are kind of dark after the sunlight. And the angels kind of stick out because they're shaded in there, but you can tell that they're definitely there. Scale and proportion. I definitely think that the proportion of the preacher or the saint, I think he's definitely a saint, maybe that's the same thing, but the saint and the students that he is talking to that are on their knees praying or reading, I definitely think that he was made bigger, and he was more, the proportions were kind of thrown off from the students because they are very little, and maybe that shows that since they're down on their knees praying, they almost look as if they're infants, but not infants, but they look childlike, but you can definitely tell by the way that they're dressed and how they look in their hair that they're older. So maybe that had something to do with how the author wanted us to think of them. To me, overall, the different symbols and meanings, when I look at this picture, what I think everything means and how it ties together is that the preacher is talking about Mary, and Jesus, and he has his arm outstretched. So it's also as if I get the idea that he wants the people below to be welcomed and to feel as if maybe they're being saved, because some of them are down on their knees, they're praying, some of them are holding books, reading them, which to me, I believe is a Bible. And the ones that are praying are looking up towards Mary. So I feel as if he is giving an altar call, and some of them are praying, the sinner's prayer, or they're praying for different things, or their relationship with Christ and with Jesus, because the picture he's holding, like I said, it looks as if it's the Holy Trinity, and there's a cross right behind him with Jesus nailed on it, and then Mary is illuminated by the sunlight and up, almost as if it's a daydream surrounded by clouds. So I feel that the painter was trying to tell a story of someone's life being changed, and the man was, maybe it was for that man, and just saying thank you, for changing their lives, because it looks as if he's preaching and his arms are open, held out, like he wants them, to know Jesus. To me, I don't really do the older paintings. Like, I like the newer things I can relate to, but I definitely feel that everything in this picture ties together. And when I was walking by the museum, it caught my eye, and I'm religious, so it just made me think for a minute.